Haunter was a key member on a team featuring one of the most evil strategies of all time. The year was 2013, and a certain Pokemon player needed a team for a tournament. And not just any tournament at that, the Nugget Bridge Invitational. Nugget Bridge was the main site for competitive Pokemon for many years. They posted team reports and held tournaments for the community, among other things. Every serious player used the site, and most participated in these tournaments. There was a circuit set up throughout the year, and if you did well enough, you qualified for the ultimate tournament, the Invitational. Only 16 players qualified to this tournament, and everyone who made it this far was a serious threat. Since the field was so stacked, surely you'd need a super powerful team, right? In a format with Pokemon like Landorus T and Eruption Heatran, only the strongest Pokemon could succeed, right? Right? Huh? Don't you agree? Huh? Right? Speaking of things you should agree with, today's video is sponsored by Bloodline, Heroes of Lithos. And I think we can all agree that it looks like a fun and exciting game. Click my link in the description to download for yourself. New legends will be born in this strategic, card-based RPG. The game has a traditional Western fantasy theme with realistic graphics, where you can not only collect champions and build kingdoms, but also create half-blood heirs by merging the powers of various bloodlines, such as orcs, elves, and demons. One of the things I'm most excited for about this game is the unique heir system. You can collect a variety of legendary champions, then pass on their powers and raise heirs with true companions from a vast fantasy world. Choose your path and make your house stronger by merging bloodlines. The game also allows you to build your own kingdom and strengthen your economy. To make things even better, the game even has a werewolf character, Lycanus, so you already know it's gonna be good. The game is free to play for both iOS and Android. Click my link in the description to download for yourself, and use my gift code to receive limited time rewards. Well, you may be surprised to learn that the team that got second place featured not only Haunter, but Delcatty? Alright, how the heck did that happen? Delcatty is cute, and that's about all it has going for it. It has really atrocious base stats, a limited move pool, and useless abilities. Mostly useless abilities. While Delcatty is just your average, garbage, early game normal type Pokemon in many ways, there is one unique thing about it. Delcatty and Skitty are the only Pokemon in the game with access to the ability Normalize. Normalize is a really abysmal ability that turns all moves used by the user into normal type. While this might sound exciting, it's not good. Normalize means you can't do super effective damage to any Pokemon, and you can't run any coverage moves. The list of Pokemon that can get away without running coverage moves and are still good is like just Regieleki. Do you know what's like running a Pokemon without coverage moves? Watching my videos and not subscribing. I mean, come on, you're already most of the way there anyway. I work really hard in these videos, and I'd love to make more of them, so if you're enjoying the content, I hope you'll consider dropping a sub. So why was Delcatty on this team despite having one of the worst abilities of all time? Well, it was actually on the team because of how bad its ability is. Let's talk about the second Pokemon crucial to this strategy, Gengar. Haunter's big brother was a crucial member of this strategy because it met two important criteria. First, it was a ghost type. We'll talk about why that's important in a second. Second, it had access to both skill swap and roleplay. Roleplay is a move that replaces the user's ability with the target's. It's seen in VGC with Kyogre mostly, where Tornadus will use Prankster roleplay to copy Drizzle or Primordial Sea, resetting the rain for Kyogre to do big damage. Skill swap is one of my personal favorite moves. It switches the abilities of the user and the target. I actually got second at the World Championships with skill swap back in 2012, using it to give my Heatran Levitate. Here, however, it's doing something more sinister. You lead off with Gengar and Delcatty. Delcatty uses Fake Out while Gengar uses Roleplay to copy Normalize. Then, Gengar skill swaps to give Normalize to an opponent, turning all their moves to normal type. Of course, your opponent could just switch out to reset their ability, except the third Pokemon on this team is Gothitelle, who has the Shadow Tag ability. Shadow Tag prevents your opponent from switching out. So in this case, whichever Pokemon you gave Normalize to would be stuck on the field with a worthless ability. Because Roleplay doesn't overwrite the target's ability, Gengar can do the same thing to both opponents, leaving them both stuck using only normal type moves. And because Gengar is a ghost type Pokemon, if you pull it off, neither opponent will be able to damage Gengar, because it's immune to normal type moves. However, there's still a major problem. Gothitelle is a psychic type, meaning it isn't immune to normal type moves. The opponent can focus down Gothitelle, and once it goes down, they'll be free to switch out, get their abilities back, and win the game. Which is where, finally, Haunter comes into play. So far, we've been using Roleplay to copy Normalize. But once we've given both opponents Normalize with Skill Swap and Roleplay, we can then use Gengar's Roleplay to copy Gothitelle's Shadow Tag. Now, Gothitelle is no longer needed, and it's time for Haunter to enter. Let's do a little recap, because with all the abilities changing around, things have gotten a bit confusing. Both opponents have the Normalize ability, and Gengar has the Shadow Tag ability. With this, our setup is complete. We can switch to Haunter and use Skill Swap to give it Shadow Tag. Now, both opponents are stuck on the field, unable to switch, and all their moves are normal types against both ghost types, meaning they are incapable of doing any damage. Of course, they still have Pokemon in the back, so the game isn't over yet. Thankfully, we still have a few tricks up our sleeve. Before we knock out our opponents, we need to do some prep work. Both Gengar and Haunter have Pain Split, allowing them to heal off any damage they might have taken. Next, we're going to want to get Normalize on Gengar once again. That way, when the opponent sends in their next Pokemon, we're ready immediately to take their ability. We're finally ready to take our first KO. It's important to only KO one Pokemon at a time, to prevent them getting two Pokemon in with non-normal type moves. In this match, the opponent sent out Choice Scarf Rampardos, allowing them to outspeed and one-hit KO Gengar. Unfortunately for them, thanks to the Pain Split from earlier, Gengar still has all its HP. And thanks to its Focus Sash item, which prevents a Pokemon from being KO'd in one hit, it's able to survive and give Rampardos Normalize, once again making both Ghost Pokemon invincible. Now it's just rinse and repeat. Use Roleplay to copy Normalize, Pain Split to heal back up, and when you're ready, take a KO to send in the final Pokemon, in this case, Gastrodon. Now the game is as good as over, as one final skill swap is performed to seal the deal, removing your opponent's last hope at victory. Now, I know what you're thinking. What kind of sick, depraved scoundrel could even conceive of this team? Who would unleash such horrific acts of violence against the gaming community? Well, and promise you won't be mad, but yeah, it was me. But enough about that. Let's talk about the last two members of the team. You see, this Normalized trap was difficult to pull off consistently. This tournament was best of 3, so even if you got it once, there's no guarantee your opponent wouldn't just adapt. If you lost a single set in this tournament, you'd be eliminated. So you had to win every best of 3. The Pokemon I selected to round out the team were Politoed and Kingdra. Politoed had access to the move Perish Song, which puts a timer on every Pokemon on the field of 3 turns. Once that timer hits 0, all Pokemon faint. You can remove the timer by switching your Pokemon out, but we have Gothitelle on this team to prevent switches. Last, and kind of least, was Kingdra. Kingdra was a solid offensive Pokemon in 2013, but I chose to use a very weird set of Substitute, Protect, and Disable with Leftovers. Disable could combo with Gothitelle's Shadow Tag, but in reality, an offensive set probably would have been better. With the team complete, it was time for the tournament. In the first round, I played against a team consisting of Latios, Gallade, Jellicent, and Ferrothorn. This team was really offensive, so I decided to lean into my Rain and Perish Trap mode to try and win. I was able to get Perish Song off in the middle of the game while switching in my Gothitelle against both Jellicent and Ferrothorn. And after some careful maneuvering, both Pokemon went down. My opponent sends out Latios and Gallade, but Gengar is on the field. Gengar finishes off the Latios with 2 quick Shadow Balls. And as Gallade is choice banned and locked into close combat, I advanced to round 2. Round 2 had me going up against Alex Agloza, the 2014 national champion. Alex had a Trick Room team with a bunch of annoying support and offensive pieces. In game 1, I decided to go with my Perish Trap mode. Alex leads passively with Amoonguss and Porygon 2, as I lead with Politoed and Kingdra. Seeing that I'm not in any danger, I switch into Gothitelle and go for Perish Song. I eliminate both Amoonguss and Porygon 2, and Alex sends out Jellicent and Heatran. I'm able to use Kingdra to take out Heatran, then beat Jellicent with Perish Song to win game 1. Now, at this point, I haven't actually gone for Normalized Trap just yet, and it feels like it's time. Alex leads with Porygon 2 and Hitmontop against my Delcatty and Gengar, the perfect lead matchup. Alex gets lucky and traces Levitate with Porygon. If he had Trace Normalized, he would have been doing my job for me. I go for Fake Out and Roleplay turn 1, as Alex switches into Scizor and flinches. Turn 2, Alex sets up a Swords Dance and Trick Rooms, as I give his Scizor Normalize. Turn 3 goes perfectly, as I protect Gothitelle and Roleplay Normalize once again, as Alex doubles into my Gothitelle. We're getting really close now. Just one more turn and we'll be in the clear. Except...
why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Yeah, we were so close, but the one opportunity we had to get crit, it happened. With Gothitelle down, there's no more trap, and I quickly lose the game. Game 3, I go back to Politoed and Kingdra, now that Alex knows Normalize is something he has to respect. The game starts out slow, as Alex gets Trick Room up and I switch in Gothitelle. I use Gothitelle to chunk Hitmontop, then finish off with Politoed. My Gothitelle has taken a ton of damage, but I reveal my last move, Rest, taking me back to full HP. Alex sends out Scizor, a major threat now that I can't take its ability. I don't have any good way of dealing with Scizor, so I'm forced to sacrifice Gothitelle in exchange for taking half of Scizor's health with Scald. I send out Kingdra, and Alex uses Protect with Scizor as I double Jellicent with Scald, getting a burn. The issue is, Jellicent's Curse Body activates on Kingdra, disabling my only attack. Politoed knocks out Scizor, and Trick Room goes back up, and Alex reveals his final Pokemon, Heatran. I then reveal my last Pokemon, Haunter. Haunter goes down heroically, but it's bought us enough time to stall out the Trick Room, and with Kingdra no longer disabled, we're able to take out Heatran. Trick Room goes back up, and it's 2 water types with only Scald against Curse Body Jellicent with Recover. It's looking pretty doomed, but I do have one trick up my sleeve. I'm able to disable Alex's Recover, turning off his healing. With Politoed and Kingdra gradually wearing down Jellicent's health, I'm narrowly able to clutch out the win and advance to the top 4. Now, top 4 game 1 you already saw. I was finally able to get the full trap off, disassembling my opponent's team like a kid playing with Legos. However, I wasn't out of the woods yet. Winning a game is fine, but to make it to the finals, I'd need to win the set. Game 2 starts, and I decide to go with my Politoed and Kingdra lead. You see, my opponent had Togekiss with Follow Me, one of the single worst matchups for my team, as Togekiss could stop me giving Normalize to its partner. Togekiss cannot, however, protect its partners from Perish Song. My opponent switches in Gastrodon turn 1, and goes for Tailwind, as I switch to Gothitelle and go for Perish Song. I stall out the Perish counter and take the first 2 KOs, as my opponent sends out Hitmontop and Ramparados. Unfortunately for them, Kingdra is faster than Ramparados in the rain, and disables its Choice Scarf Rock Slide. Ramparados is forced to struggle as Gothitelle KOs Hitmontop, and I win the game and advance to the finals. Who was I going up against in the finals of this huge tournament? Well, none other than my good friend Aaron Cybertron Zeng, who would go on to place top 4 at the World Championships later that year. Aaron's team was tough. He had Thunderous Therian, and I didn't have a single electric resistance. Game 1, I lead off with Politoed and Kingdra, against Aaron's Thundurus and Scizor. I make a super aggressive move turn 1, using Substitute and Scald into Scizor as Aaron switches Thundurus into Kingdra and Scizor breaks the sub. Turn 2, both Kingdra sub, as Politoed attacks into Scizor's Protect. The third turn of the match sees Aaron double into my Kingdra as I Protect, and Politoed finishes off Scizor with the help of a timely burn. I'm able to disable Kingdra's Draco Meteor, but Aaron makes a good call and doubles my Kingdra, making Politoed's Protect worthless. I predict Aaron to attack Kingdra and switch it into Gothitelle, as Aaron switches Kingdra into Landorus, and I get Perish Song off. Unfortunately, Thunderbolt did a ton to Gothitelle, leaving it below half HP. I protect both my Pokemon, then get super lucky and get a double protect off with Gothitelle, but Aaron knocks out Politoed. I send Kingdra back out and disable U-turn, preventing the Landorus from switching out, but Thundurus one-shots Kingdra, making it a 1v1 at the very end. Aaron sends out his Kingdra, and I reveal my last Pokemon, Focus Sash Gengar. Kingdra goes for Surf, but Gengar survives and is able to go for Skill Swap, making Gengar the fastest Pokemon. It all comes down to if Gengar can KO Kingdra right now. Gengar goes for Shadow Ball, and just barely misses the KO, resulting in my defeat. There's no recording of Game 2, unfortunately, but as I recall, it was a lot less close. In the end, Haunter and Delcatty just couldn't compete with the powerful Pokemon on Aaron's team. And that's how Haunter nearly won a huge tournament. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please consider subscribing. If you'd like to see more videos about stories like this one, let me know in the comments.